sweating in there. Quick, shut the door. Oh no, there's a draft. I need help. Hey, a draft excluder. What a brilliant idea. Oh, it's lovely and warm now. If, like me, you cannot bear the cold, if your house is creaky and old and there's drafts coming in everywhere, a draft excluder like one of these is much cheaper than central heating. Double glazing can cost thousands, but this is relatively easy and simple to make and won't cost you much at all. What you need to do to make it, first up, is to get your hands on one of these. It is an old fleece, and I do stress it has to be old, one you've grown out of, or maybe you want to get one from a charity shop or a cheap one from down the market. And then next, this is fun, you chop the sleeves off. Now usually you're told not to cut up your clothes, but I am giving you permission. So both sleeves, they're coming off and you kind of get left with this sort of tank top shape, but we will be using that in just a moment. So you could wear it like that, or you could put it to one side for a little bit later. Now next you need to turn one of your sleeves inside out and then pop the other sleeve inside it. And then once you've done that, it'll look like this. And then you need to get a needle and thread out and stitch a running stitch along the edge so that all of the bits of sleeve have been stitched together. And then when you unfold it, you're left with a long tube-like shape like this one here. And then you need to do yet more running stitch along one edge. And then once you've done that, you'll find that if you pull on your running stitch, it gathers the whole thing up. And then if you sew it and keep sewing, you can actually seal off this end and you're ready to get stuffing once you've knotted it off. And you just fill the whole tube up with this stuff. It's called wadding or padding, and just go right the way along. That will take me a while, so I'm going to show you one that I have already stuffed. There we go. And then once you've done that, you sew up the other end, so both of your ends are nicely sealed up. And next, you're ready to make the head. So I'll pop that to one side. Now for the head, you need to get back the bit of tank top type shape, if that makes sense, that you cut your sleeves off. And then next, we're going to get a plate as a template. Anyway, draw around it and then cut it out, and once you do, you will have a circular shape like this one here. And next we're going to do yet more stitching. This is a really good thing to make if you're particularly superb at the old running stitch, and you need to go right the way around the edge, sort of leave about 1 centimetre from the edge and go right the way around. I'm using a red thread, but obviously it's good to use one that matches. So go right the way around, and once you have done that, you'll find that it sort of turns into a little pouch-like shape when you pull on your thread. And once again, we're going to stuff that with loads of wadding. So in it goes. And then pull on your thread and knot it off, and that is going to be our head. There we go. That's a more neatly stuffed one. Now, if you have a look at our cat's face, you can see there's all sorts of little bits of detail you can put on. First up, the muzzle. Now, you can get a bit of white felt or a white scrap of material and cut it to the right shape. And then we're going to thread some whiskers through. Now these are ingeniously made. What I did is I got one of those milk bottles, plastic milk bottles, and you cut a tiny thin strip off with some scissors. And then you need to get one of these really big-eyed needles, thread that through, and then pop it through one side of the cat's cheek, and then it's going to come out through the other side. Now, when you do this, make sure that you hold on to one end because you don't want to lose your whisker. So I'm holding on with that finger. Come on out. It'll take a while to tease it through. There we go. And there you've got 3 whiskers now. And then if you dab some glue on, it will just hold it in place. You can just put some, there we go, PVA glue. And then you can stick the whole area onto your cat's face. There we go. Next up, it needs a nose and a little tongue. So I've got this bit of pink felt here for the nose. On it goes. Oh, be careful with your glue. And then eyes as well. I've lost my tongue somewhere. Maybe this cat doesn't have a tongue. There we go. And then the green eyes for a green cat. For a green cat, what am I talking about? For green cat's eyes. Anyway, if you look at the first cat, you'll notice that it's got little ears, and those ears actually bend about, and there is an art to doing that. What you need to do is you need to cut 2 bits of ear. One is the inner bit of ear and one is the outer bit of ear. And then I've stuck a bit of, that's bread tagging, but you could use a bit of pipe cleaner and pop it in the middle and then stick that piece of ear onto that piece of ear, and you'll find that it actually bends about. It's very clever. And then you can sew it onto the head. I'm just going to pin this one on for now for time, and then you need to sew your whole head on once you've got 2 ears. So I'll pop, that's another ear, and stick that one on as well. So that's kind of 2 ears, and you can stick that onto the body. Now you can either stitch it on or you can glue it on. I'm just going to pin mine for now for speed and ease, and I'm going to go on to the tail. Now hopefully you'll have enough material left to make a tail, and it needs to be about 30 centimetres by 8 centimetres. And once again, we're going for a bendy tail, so you need to get a pipe cleaner and pop it in the middle, and then you're going to get yet more wadding, and then this time arrange it really carefully right along the middle, and then you have to make sure you don't put too much because we're actually going to sew it with the wadding in there. So you fold it in half and then do yet more stitching right the way along the end, and then when you've done it, it will look more like this. And cause the pipe cleaner's in the middle, you can make it squiggly wiggly. You can make it, yeah, funky tail, just like that, and then you sew it onto one end. And that is nearly a completed cat. Obviously, I can't say it properly now. I'll just do a bit for now. But if you have a look, you can also make dogs, depending on what your pets are. We've got Mabel here, and then there's Meg as well. Or if you've got a snake, that's even better because you don't have to do a head. And then you have one draught excluder to make your house warmer.
God,
super. That
do one over here, actually.
Yeah.
Them studio doors are a bit big.
I need one at home.
It certainly is.
Especially with that gnome on the heat.
They're lovely, aren't they? I like them a lot.
Anyway, what a make. That was a good make, wasn't it? And for the first time ever, you can hear Connie's voice on the website, because all the information about that make, as well as Connie's voice, is on the website.
Now, stand by, all fans of Togger, Andy and Abel, because starting tomorrow, there's a brand new series of Grange Hill on CBBC.